Okay, in this training video, we are going to discuss how the Center for Faculty Excellence, how we set up our workshop website and registrations. So you can see we have a tab on our website over here for all of our list of workshops, and we have our workshop catalog. So you will want to update the available workshops by category over here once you have access to our website training, so you can go in and update the website, because we do have people who like to be able to use this search feature and filter by workshop category if they are taking any for the teaching and learning certificate. However, we also have them listed down here, and on our homepage you can see we have them here as well. And we'll discuss how we get these icons on the website, because these are actually through the BGSU events calendar. But our workshops are one of our main features of the Center for Faculty Excellence. So I want to walk you through how we create our workshop registrations and how we automate them. So we have our workshop registrations feed into a SharePoint list in our Center for Faculty Excellence SharePoint. So on the left navigation, you'll see it links to the list here. And from our workshop registration form, which we create in Microsoft Word, it's going to pull through all of this information and feed it into this list. And then you can filter over here by the year, or you can filter by the semester. You can choose multiple filters, filter by the college, you can filter by the workshop facilitator. So there's a variety of ways to filter through workshops, and you can also export the data as well. We have this connected to our Power BI dashboard for our data visualization, which we will discuss in a different video. So we want to make sure when we have our participants registering that information is feeding into here, and that they also get an automatic email and an automatic calendar hold. So there's a lot of steps in this, and I'm going to try and walk you through each one, so that way when you are going through to coordinate and create these registration forms, that it's a little bit easier for you to do. So you want to make sure that you've logged into your BGSU email via the online internet version, and you want to go over to the Microsoft 365 apps, and you'll select the Forms app. As you can see in here, I have created a variety of forms for our workshops and learning communities and other events that we offer through the CFE. And I provided a template to build them off of, because once you create one, you can really just sort of copy and paste for each individual workshop. So let's open one of these workshop forms here. Introduction to Canvas. So when you are creating a workshop form, all that you really need to do based on the template is update the title. And you want to make sure that you have designated the semester and the year. So fall is designated by FA, and then this is for 2022, so you'd put a 22. If it was spring 23, it would be SP 23, and summer would be SU 23. And then I like to include the title of the workshop and the date, because we tend to offer a variety of recurring workshops of the same title. So then you'll just include the description, workshop categories. So this would be any categories that this workshop fulfills towards the Teaching and Learning Teaching and Learning Certificate, the facilitator, the date of the workshop, the time, and the location. And then we always want to include an accessibility statement. So if it is a virtual Zoom meeting, we want to make sure that our participants know that it's going to be on Zoom, and if any information is going to be emailed to them within 48 hours before the event, so that they can have that to look over, and to let them know if they have a specific accessibility need to reach out to the facilitator. And the facilitator can then coordinate with our accessibility services office. Down here, all they're going to do is select their college and then how did they hear about the workshop. So when you are sharing it, you want to do collect responses. And then this is the link that you'll copy to share to actually collect registrant data. But if you want to use this as a template, which is what I do, you'll go over here, select collaborate or duplicate, and then you would copy, so share as a template, copy. And then you would just paste that into your web browser, select duplicate, and then you would go in and edit this information for the next workshop. Okay, so we have our workshop form, our registration form created. Now we want to connect it to the SharePoint list, which we have over here. We want to connect it to our workshop registrants list in SharePoint so that we're feeding the data in here. And we also want to create a flow or an automatic flow so that when someone registers for the workshop, they get an automatic email and a calendar hold. And also the facilitator gets an email to let that person know that someone has registered for their workshop. So to do that, you'll want to open PowerAutomate, and you do that in the same place as all of your 365 apps. It's this one down here. And you can see in mine, I have quite a few that I have created for a variety of needs at the Center for Faculty Excellence. So I want to open one of these. So we'll open the Intro to Canvas, and I will show you how we have this set up. So these are all of the steps that go into this individual flow. So let's walk through this. So we're starting with Microsoft Form. So when a new response is submitted via the form, you want to make sure that you have the correct form selected in the form ID dropdown. You can see these are all the forms I've created. So we're going to make sure that we're pulling the data from the Intro to Canvas form. And then from that form, we select that form again here. We want to select the list of respondents. So all the people who have registered via that form. Then after they submit their registration and we get their details, we also want to get their user profile. So this is, we want to get all the information about the respondent that is housed in our BGSU sort of IT knowledge. So this would be like their their email, their name, their job description, job title, the college that they're part of, things like that. So this is where we would want to select that in here. Responder's email. So basically, all of this is gathering all of the information from an individual registrant, and then it's going to plop it down in here, which is the next step, into that SharePoint list for all of our registrants. So we want to make sure that we have our Center for Faculty Excellence SharePoint site selected and the correct list selected. So we are having all of this data fed into our workshop registrants list. Now this is where we need to input some of the data. So for the email column, we want to gather their email from the form. Their name, so this is pulling their display name. This is going to pull their name from that user profile. So we want to include their name. Now we want to, we'll have to input here, actually manually type the title of the workshop, the date of the workshop, start time and end time, workshop modality, so is it virtual, is it in person, is it hybrid, and the workshop facilitator. Then we want to make sure that we're pulling the correct data for the department. So we would grab that from over here. Their job title. So we would grab that from over here as well. So that data is coming from the user profile up here. And then from the form, we want to pull the college that they selected. So it would be down here. And how did they hear about that workshop? So we scroll down. how to hear about this workshop. And then we would manually input the semester and the year. So all of these steps so far, what we've done is gathered all of the data that the registrant has submitted using the form, and it's fed it into our SharePoint list, which is over here. Now that's great because we definitely need that data for our Power BI dashboard, and so that we can make appropriate decisions for workshop offerings, and that way we know who's registered for all of our workshops. But we also want to create a few more automates so that when someone registers for the workshop, they will also receive an automatic calendar hold on their individual Outlook calendar. They will also receive an email with information about the workshop, and then the facilitator will also receive an email. So the next step here, and to add another step, you would just select Insert New Step. We want to create an event. It's going to come from the calendar, and then we input the subject, so this would be the title of the workshop, and then the start time and the end time. So you can see we go year, month, day, and this is military time. And the time zone is UTC Eastern Time to submit a registration, so that way you can go to your calendar to test it and check and make sure that it loads at the correct Eastern Standard Time. Now, we always want to click Show Advanced Options, so that way it goes to the responder's email, and we can see that in the body we can include the Zoom link, and in the location we can include the Zoom link. So if this is not going to be held virtually, we could also include the location. So if it's in Olds Camp 106, we would put Olds Camp 106 here. And in the body we could indicate anything particular that they need to bring. So if it's in person, we could say, please bring your laptop. Okay, so we've got that step. So then we would add another step, and it would be to send an email. So this is going to go to the respondent, and we want to make sure the subject is for the specific workshop, and we want to individualize it, so we'd select their name. So from the SharePoint list, we're pulling their name, and then we'll just include the information about the workshop. So thank you for registering, and then workshop name, date, and start time. Any information about the workshop, so this is going to be conducted via Zoom, and the hold will be sent to your Outlook calendar. Please go to your calendar to confirm, and link to join, and then we want to repeat the accessibility statement. Now our last step is to send an email notification to the facilitator. So that way the facilitator knows who is registering for their workshop. So we want to input their email here, the subject, new registrant, and then the specific workshop title and date. And then we want to select the registrant name, so their display name, we would select that, scroll, select their display name. We'd select their email, just in case the facilitator needs to, reach out to their registrants, and then just confirm registered for which specific workshop, and then we would hit save. So we'd want to go back to our flows once we save it, and as you can see, this one is turned off. So let's go down to the flow that we were just reviewing. Well, let me see, where did that go? I have so many in here. Well, you would just want to select to make sure that it's turned on. And if you want to, what I basically do once I have one workshop, all of that flow created for the workshop registrant, is I will just save that as a template. So go through Save As, and then this is where you would update it for the next workshop. So say we have our next workshop is Inclusive Pedagogy, and then you would save that with the new title. And then you would go up here, and then basically you would just go through and edit that for your workshop. So you would want to reselect the form, the registration form for that, and then you would go in here and edit the data edit this data for that workshop. And then save it, and then you would go back to your flows and you would turn it on. And what you want to make sure that you do is test it. So over here, Introduction to Canvas, actually one. So we'll go over here, Introduction to Canvas, collect responses, copy. We want to open up the registration form and we want to test it. So we'll say test and submit. Now we want to go to our email. And you can see I've got the automatic email response, but we also want to check our calendar. So we want to make sure that the calendar hold is showing up as December 16th at 10 a.m. So let's go to our calendar here. And we see it is going to December 16th at 10 a.m. So the next step is to use this registration form to create an event on the BGSU events calendar. So to do that, we'll open another tab, the events calendar here. And then you'll log in. And you will submit an event. So here you would put the title of the workshop. And then you would put the description. And you will also do the registration link. Copy this link here, put that over there. And then you'll put the date, so it's December 16th, start time, and end time. And then add that to schedule. Select a location, this is virtual. We don't need to create a Zoom meeting because we already have a Zoom meeting link. And then hashtag would be CFE. And then event website, we could just recopy the registration link. We don't have any parking cost. You would want to upload an image to go with this. So you could upload like a icon for a canvas. And then you want to select the filters. So this goes for workshops and classes. Target audience is faculty and staff. Topic, you want to just double check here. So this would be academic. And we want to select our office. So Center for Faculty Excellence. And then you would hit submit. Now, in addition to the BGSU events calendar, you also want to submit this to campus updates. So we'll go to campus update submission. And here is where you would basically copy all the same information for campus updates. And for each workshop, we want to have it post at least 3 times for the workshop runs in campus updates so that people can see it. So audience is faculty and staff usually. Put our office information. Date to post, so this starts on December 16th. So the first time we want to start advertising it is probably the week before. So we could start, the first date to post would be Monday. And then the short title, so we could just copy the title of the workshop. And then again, copy the information. And then we also want to make sure we include the registration link. here. And then yes, and then submit. So we do that 3 times to make sure we at least post 3 times before the workshop runs. The last thing I want to show you is how we can get those BGSU events calendars on our CFE website. So we'll open up our website editor, and we use Adobe AEM. And you would gain access to this via the marketing office. So over here, we'll scroll down to Center for Faculty Excellence. And we want to make sure these are showing up on our homepage. So you just scroll down, you can see I have them right here, and they automatically populate based on what we submit to the BGSU events calendar, and I'll show you how that works. So click Edit. So this is an event list detail, displaying it as cards, filter using group. And the group that we chose was Center for Faculty Excellence. When we went in and we submitted our event to the BGSU events calendar, it's very important that we put our group and we select Center for Faculty Excellence. And then it pulls all of the events part of the group of Center for Faculty Excellence. And that's the same thing that populates over here on our workshop page. So why does it look kind of weird like that? There we go. So we'll scroll down here, and that's the same thing that's populating here. Now you also want to input them on our searchable list, so you would edit that. And you would just put the title, the date, and then you want to make sure you check which category it's part of. And then this here is the hyperlink to the BGSU events calendar page. And that is how we do our workshop registrations and how we include them on the CFE website.